Good morning, traders. I am Emily Advani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Friday, September 27th. Back at record close, following some positive signals, including solid economic data. All three major indices ended in the green yesterday, with the S&P 500 notching another record close. The index added 23 points or 0.4% to end at 5,745 points. The Dow gained 260 points or 0.62%. The Nasdaq advanced 108 points or 0.6%. Bill, let's get into today's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes. Good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're actually higher now. We're up 0.11%, a little over a tenth of 1%. That's positive. We were flat to lower all morning, but we've just turned, and now we're trading a share higher. That's kind of nice. And today is all about the PC. We get the PC data coming out, 1 hour before the market opens, and that's really what the market's going to be. It's paying a lot of attention to. Last night, we got Costco, ticker COST, delivered an earnings beat, although it was done on lower revenue. DirecTV, I see is, they're in talks to acquire Dish Network. That makes a lot of sense. We got some strike news. There's a longshoreman strike that's possible for next week. A prolonged strike would really hurt retail sales. We got to be careful with that. Boeing's got their strike issues going on. Apparently, the union leaders did not even take the latest offer, which was said to be Boeing's best and final offer. They didn't even take it to a vote. So there's a lot of moving pieces going on in those talks. Bristol Meyers, ticker BMY, they received approval for their schizophrenia treatment. That's positive. Bristol Meyers is trading higher on this morning. But, we got to keep an eye on what's going on in Europe, and we're seeing some nice positive action in Europe. We're showing the DAX up 0.94% or 181 points. We're showing the FTSE's up 33 points or 0.4%, and the CAC in Paris is up 26 points or 0.34%. The thing about Europe is they got a lot of inflation data. The Spanish inflation data and the French inflation data came out this morning. The French inflation data actually fell to 1.2% in September. That's 1.2%. Wow, that's pretty good. And in Germany, they're going to get their inflation data out of Germany next week, as well as for the EU. So, we're really moving forward to that, and we're seeing that inflation data come down, which is positive for the markets, because that could really push the ECB to lower rates when they meet in October. London, we're seeing gains. Those mining stocks continue to push higher, which is good to see. And then last night in Asia, we saw some real positive action. I mean, the Nikkei jumped 903 points. It's 2.32%. We had Hong Kong jumping over 700 points, 107 points. That's 3.55%. And Shanghai in China jumped 86 points. That's 2.88%. Let's take it, in Hong Kong, that market's up 13% on the week. China's up 12.8% on the week. The Shanghai saw some nice gains in finance and software stocks, which really led the move overnight. Nikkei, listen, the slowing inflation, is continuing to be a growth prospect. China elected their, one of their people that's going to run for the next prime minister seat from the ruling party. And this guy favors more stimulus action over rate hikes. So that's kind of a positive, because you don't want to see, if they do rate hikes, that carry trade is over. So, we got to keep an eye on that. But we're watching oil. Oil's always, a factor. I mean, we've been seeing oil fall apart recently. But this morning, oil's kind of edging higher. I mean, you got WTI at $67.85 a barrel. That's up 18 cents. You get Brent at $71.62. That's up 2 cents. But we got that OPEC meeting next week, and that's what you really got to pay attention to, because, Saudi Arabia is really going to be pressing forward to, do production cuts. And then, of course, you got Libya, which is their production is back online. So that's additional volume going out there, and Russia's not going to cease, producing oil. So we're going to see a lot more oil hit the market, and that's going to, reduce oil prices. And Saudi Arabia wants to make up for the, lower prices by, regaining market share. So if they're going to go after market share, we could see a real, price fight on our hands between them and Russia for some of these Asian markets, which ultimately will just lower oil prices. But that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update report, Emily.
Bill, on this Friday morning, you have a handle on everything that's going on as we await that PCE data coming out, as you mentioned, later this morning ahead of the bell, even looking ahead to inflation data, overseas, anticipating what is going on sort of globally. We're going to get to all the economic events in just a moment. But before we get there, we're going to cover earnings action. Bill, what is going on in terms of earnings?
We're starting off with Vail Mountain Resorts, ticker MTN. Michael, Tom, Nancy, they missed by 43 cents on higher revenue, though. Stocks trading down 2% this morning. I did see trade a little higher after the bell yesterday. Costco, ticker COST, they beat by 21 cents, but it was done on lower revenue. Don't count this one out. This one won't come back. Stocks trading off 1%. The expected move was much more. I think the expected move was 3%, so we could see some additional weakness. But this was not a bad report by them. Upcoming Monday morning, we got Carnival Cruise Lines, ticker CCL, Charlie Larry. Their EPS is $1.16. Expected move is 9.48% when they release Monday morning. And that's what I have for you in terms of earnings announcements, Emily.
Now to the economic events of the day, the main headline here, that inflation data coming out. So, Bill, what is going on in terms of economic events?
Well, we got the PCE this morning at 8:30 a.m. We also got the trade deficit, international trade in goods at 8:30 a.m. And at 10 a.m., we got the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report. At 1:15 p.m., we're going to hear from Fed Governor Michelle Baumann. She'll be speaking for a third time this week. But it's really about the PCE. It's coming out this morning. The August 12-month PCE inflation is expected to slow to 2.3 from 2.5%, with the core accelerating to 2.7 from 2.6. So that's kind of positive. We could see some gains coming off of the 12-month figure. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we get a good PCE report this morning, Emily.
And as soon as that report hits, Bill, you'll see that data right away in real time and be able to make moves based on that, because you have NewsWare, you have alerts for economic data, for your Fed speak, obviously for your earnings action, and you also have alerts set up for other types of news and information, things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, other catalysts. You group stocks together like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks to really gather trends on the trading day. So, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
I'm just doing a quick data check. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 23 higher. I got 6 lower. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. Netflix is off fractionally, but the rest of them are trading higher, which is good to see. Oil stocks are gaining. That's nice to see. Retail stocks are surprisingly higher this morning, with the exception of Home Depot. Home Depot is a little weak. And then I'm also seeing some positive action in the autos this morning. But we're looking at some of the news on the tape that's moving the markets, and we're starting off with Apple. There's an analyst out there talking about the new Apple Vision Pro M5 chip being on the way. Okay, Apple's trading a little higher. That's good to see. Amazon, ticker AMZN. They exceeded $1.8 billion, in terms of an upfront goal for their for ads on their Amazon Prime Video segment. That's very positive. We're seeing Amazon trading slightly higher this morning. Meta Platforms, ticker META. Michael, Edward, Tom, Apple. Stock is trading higher, but Meta was higher. It was hit with a $100 million fine in Ireland over password storage. Tesla, the one thing I want to talk about Tesla is, remember, they have that robo-taxi announcement that's happening next week, next month. We got to keep an eye on that, because that could be big and that could really add to the share price. We're talking Dow Jones 30 stocks. We're talking Intel. Intel rejected ARM's approach to buy a product unit. We're talking Boeing, ticker BA, Boy Apple. The NTSB issued safety recommendations on Boeing 737 rudder system. And Visa, ticker V, they announced a deposit of $1.5 billion into a litigation escrow account in a regulatory filing that came out. You're looking at Visa. It's trading up this morning. It does have room to run. We'll keep an eye on it. Talking merger news. We're talking SATS, Sam, Apple, Tom, Sam, DirecTV nears a deal to acquire EchoStar's Dish and Sling business. SATS trading higher. What else do we have this morning? We've got guidance news from Vail Mountain Resorts, ticker MTN, Michael, Tom, Nancy. They see full year 2025 resort EBITDA coming in $838 million to, 839,000 to 894,000. That's higher than it was for the first month of 2024, which came in at 825. So kind of a net positive. Talking shareholders meetings, ticker RMD, Richard, Michael, David, they're hosting Investors Day on Monday at 1 p.m. We're talking catalyst calls. We're talking Pepsi, ticker PEP. Paul, Citibank opened up a 30-day downside catalyst into Pepsi. Remember, their earnings are coming out in like 2 weeks. We're talking SNDX, Sam, Nancy, David, X-Ray. This is Sendex. They were placed on a positive catalyst watch by JP Morgan this morning. And that's what I have for you in terms of earnings hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what do you have for us to end this week?
Let's see. What do I'm going to stick with Carnival Cruise Lines, ticker CCL, Charlie, Larry. Earnings are up Monday morning. EPS is $1.16. Expected move is 9.48%. You look at yesterday's call volume, 101,432, 101,432 versus 31,890. Wow, that's a big divergence. Very positive. But the open interest is negative. I mean, on my open interest, we get 732.45K versus 1,034,051. So it's not hitting all my data sets, but I still kind of like it. Major brokers are, have been raising price targets. They're semi-positive on it. And then, here's the key thing that I like is that last quarter, they said they expect to earn $1.18. Now, the estimates are only at $1.16, which kind of sets it up for a beat. So, if I can get in 1850 to 1870 kind of in there, I think I could pull out 1% on that trade. I just got to kind of wait and see how it opens and see how it starts to trade. But Carnival Cruise Lines, CCL, Charlie, Larry, looks positive this morning, Emily.
Carnival Cruise Lines it is today, Bill. And coming up before we sign off, before the weekend, we will do a recap on yesterday's pick of the day. But first, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our Hot Off the Press segment. Bill, sending it back to you.
Blink Charging, ticker BLNK. They surpass 100,000 charger milestone. Johnson & Johnson announces the update of a phase 1 trial. It's not really big. Weight Watchers CEO departs. They named an interim CEO, but that's negative for the stock. It is trading at the 52-week low, though, so I have to check that out. Bristol Meyers up 5% after their schizophrenia drug cleared by the FDA. Oracle revealed a 29% stake in Ampere with an option to own. Sava Sciences, ticker SAVA, Sam, Apple, Victor Apple. These guys got hit with a fine from the SEC, $40 million over misleading Alzheimer's drug statements. ESTA, Elvis, Sam, Tom, Apple secures FDA approval for augmentation implants. Target's on watch. In fact, the retail sector's on watch because of these looming port strikes. They're trading higher today, but a new contract's needed by midnight by September 30th, or these East Coast ports could shut down. DraftKings, DKNG, David Kilo, Nancy Grace. SEC charges DraftKings with selectivity disclosures of non-public information. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I guess that's all I see this morning, Emily.
All right, Bill, before we sign off and get to trading on this Friday and eventually get to our weekend, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was Southwest Airlines. Now, your pick was coupled with news yesterday that Southwest raised its revenue forecast. It has plans for a share buyback, and it's tweaking that no-thrills model. And this is all amongst that ongoing activist investor battle. You thought there was going to be some positive news to sort of push the stock up yesterday. How did your call work out?
Worked out fantastic. Stock opened up at $30.24 and then just ran. It actually hit a high of $31.64. So that's like, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like a 4 or 5% gain right there. Very positive. The shareholders meeting is over. So, once the shareholders meeting over, you're selling the news because it's already priced in. And the stock did close lower. It's trading $29.90 now, but it ran from $30.24 at the open up to $31.64. That was real positive. Very easy to make that 1%. Lots of news. all positive. Southwest Airlines, looking to try and get back on track, but Elliott, is on them. They're trying to keep them honest. So yeah, Southwest Airlines ticker LUV was a winner on Thursday, Emily.
Definitely got some love with Southwest Airlines there, and we will see how Carnival Cruise Lines works out on Monday when we check in with you on that pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here Monday and each weekday morning next week at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Bonney, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.